During the primaries, I had the good fortune of meeting Antonio. He took a time out of his very busy schedule 2 days before the primaries to sit down and at a restaurant with us and talk about Esme, meet her, made her laugh.
Who's excited to elect Antonio Delgado to the U.S. Congress? Who's also excited to see our former Vice President?
But I'm thanking you in advance for what you're going to do on Election Day. You see, you're going to change the world. And we need to take over the House. And it doesn't take many seats, and it's going to begin with New York 19.
On the eve of what would be my father's 80th birthday, I can stand here and tell you that he wholeheartedly would support Antonio this November.
I love you tremendously, from the bottom of my heart. And when I think about my life, and I think about that little boy, that little black boy, growing up in a working class family, cutting coupons with my mom, listening to Patti LaBelle Saturday mornings while she vacuumed. But I also think about those jobs that my parents had at GE, allowed us to move from apartment to apartment to apartment, and then buying our first brand new home when we were in high school. I remember that, and I remember my father taking me out there and saying, on that plot of land, this is what hard work gets you in this country. My mom put a lot of love in me and taught me what it means to love, and my dad, taught me about character and having integrity and the importance of pursuing knowledge. And those values of integrity, accountability, compassion, empathy, hard work, responsibility, caring for your neighbors. That is what I took with me, and that's what allowed me to go off to Colgate and play basketball and ultimately go off to Oxford and achieve a Rhodes Scholarship, which I can tell you, we weren't talking about me going to Oxford. We were cutting coupons. That wasn't happening. I had a couple of careers. I know you heard of one of them. But why do I share all of that with you? Why is that relevant? Well, one, because there was another story happening. While my wife and I were standing upon the values and the opportunities that were afforded our family, those same opportunities were being left behind and removed from the very communities that raised us. The jobs that were there for our families were not there anymore. The focus on education, not at all. And you get to a place where you have half the country right now not able to write a $500 check without going in debt. But you get to a place where literally, despite the fact the economy's doubled in size for the past 40 some odd years, wages have gone absolutely nowhere. Nowhere. Now here in our district, we got counties like Sullivan County where 1 in 3 kids growing up poor. 1 in 3. And all across this district, we got 80,000 folks facing hunger. People are hurting, whether it's Medicaid or Medicare, income security programs like SNAP, educational programs are being cut. No! We're stripping the bone away. The bone. And for what? I think it's just greed. Yes. I think it's just greed. Now, as I've traveled across this district and as a first-time candidate, and you got some experience in this, but as a first-time candidate, I can tell you.
You're doing pretty well.
Whether it's the healthcare crisis, whether it's wage stagnation, whether it's the climate change crisis, whether it's reimagining how our public schools ought to prepare our young people, these are the defining issues of the day. I see Andrea Mitchell out there, and we all know her story, and how important it is beyond just the healthcare issues. But what it means to look somebody in the eyes who pleads with you to not take away their healthcare. And if you say, I promise to somebody, you need to keep that promise. There's a certain nobility that should come with this, a certain dignity, a certain class. And to me, there are not many examples out there. But if there is one, now, On that note, without further ado, I give to you Vice President Joe Biden.
Hello, folks. How are you? As Antonio was talking about what he was taught as a kid, it reminded me of being home. You could have been raised in my family, or maybe I could have been raised in yours, except I'm older than your mom. But all kidding aside, my mother had an expression. She'd say, Joey, just remember, and I mean this sincerely, she was an old Irish lady with a backbone like a ramrod. She'd say, Joey, remember, nobody is better than you, and you're no better than anybody else. Everybody. You've seen in the news lately about pipe bombs that have been sent to a bunch of us in the mail. This division, this hatred, this ugliness, it really has to end. And words matter. Words matter. One thing I've learned, everywhere I go, people are desperately looking for people of character in public office. People who simply tell the truth. People, no, it sounds ridiculous to be saying that, but people who tell the truth. People who will give hate no harbor. People who are authentic. Antonio is one of the rarest folks out there these days. But who knows this is an election? This election is about a lot more than politics. This is about the character of the nation. It's about decency, respect, giving hate no safe harbor, leaving no one behind, committing to something bigger than yourself. It's the values that have always held us together as a people and defined us as a nation. And we used to be that shining city on the hill, leading the world, not by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. No, really, that's why. Now let me tell you something, folks. The rest of the world is looking at us like, what's happened? This is not your father's Republican Party. You know, I wrote a year ago after the horrific events in Charlottesville, and I believe it as strongly today as when I wrote it then, that we are in a battle for the soul of America, calling refugees animals, propping up immigrants and African Americans as a source of all our problems, this race baiting that is going on, ripping children from the arms of their parents at the border, preying on the hopelessness and despair. America already knows who the other team is. The real question is, who are we? Who are we? And we are. This man and millions of people like him all over the United States of America. That's who we are. That's who we are. It's time to stand up, damn it. Remember who we are. There's nothing beyond our capacity. And I'll say it again, but this country has to come together. We have to make it clear that we as Democrats choose hope over fear. Choose unity over division. Choose our allies over our enemies. Choose truth over lies. And choose a better future for Americans over the desperate grip that the darkest elements of our past have on our ankles. Folks, we can own the 21st century. History shows ordinary people have done extraordinary things when given half a chance. This is America, and together we can take it back. So go get it. Go get it.